Christian, you can stop sharing your screen. Let's first see from the other people.
Okay.
Let's see from Gift and then Farid.
I downloaded the app. It takes long to load.
Let's give it some time. Let's have Farid sharing as you're still loading yours.
Teacher, more people are joining the class. There is Farid Gift and
Trami, did you try to install PyCharm?
Teacher, I installed it, but have not yet signed in.
Just open it and share your screen. I want to see what you have on your screen when you open it. And also those who failed to install, you also let me know in the chat if you didn't install PyCharm.
Teacher, it's still loading.
All right. I told you to install the community edition, but it's okay. Just click on start trial. You should have installed the community version, which is free. Then let me see. Hold on. don't log in. Okay, just sign in using Google. Just say sign in using Google. Then use your email. The double B. Now just go back to the program. Just remove the browser. Let me see. You click on exit. Exit is down here. Then just say okay, now for today, just use a notepad. Hold on, let me just see first of all. Let me check out that email why it's not working. So I'm trying to create for you an email before we can get started. Okay. Now let me send you your new email. So you can use this email. And then your password is now, because of time, if you haven't installed PyCharm, you'll just follow through and use Notepad. So this is how we code using PyCharm. Now, when you open your PyCharm, let me just close everything here, and then I start a new project. So when you click start a new project, you will see something like this. So you just have to go to file, then new project. And when you click new project, you will see something like this popping up, and you're supposed to put the project name here. So if I just delete Python project 2, then I just call this maybe my first wave, my first, with no space. You don't have to leave spaces, just be one word. And the rest, you don't change anything, you just leave the way it is. You just have to change the project name here. Then make sure you know where it is saved. If you want to save it, it should always be where the path it created should be where it saves your projects. But if you want to change it, you can just click on this icon here, which is like a book. Let me annotate that. This icon here, which is like a book. When you click on it, you can be able to locate, maybe to create a location for your project. So if I want it to be in downloads, I just click downloads. So I want it to be on desktop, I click desktop, then I create a folder. I create a folder for my PyCharm project. So if I have created, you first have to create the folder. So if I come to, let me share my entire screen, I'll show you. So if I, for example, right click here, then I create a new folder, and this folder, I'm going to call it PyCharm projects. PyCharm projects. And then I now come here. While locating, I'll just click on this. Then I click on, I go to desktop. Then I click on PyCharm projects, and then I press OK. So now the location of my PyCharm project, my projects will be in this folder, PyCharm projects. So, and it's going to be created on the desktop. So when I click create, and then I say replace this window, it's going to create an environment for me to start coding. After creating, since you're not going to have a Python project for now, you can just click on this main.python, or you don't have to click on it anyway. You just click on the folder here, which has PyCharm projects. Right click on it, then new. And when you come to new, you look for where you see HTML file. Then you click HTML file, then press enter. So before even you have to name it, sorry, when you give the name of the HTML file. So for this, I'm going to just call it maybe index.html. You have to have this .html, but since it's already, PyCharm can already give you, put the extension for you. So you can just say index, then you press enter, and the index is going to be created for you. So what makes this easy is it makes for you the initial segments of the file, and now you put your title here. We already spoke about this. You leave the metadata to also be there. So you just come where there is title here, then you may give your, this is the title of your project, which is maybe, I can call it Asante Curry Powder. Or let me just call it Creative Child. Creative Child. And we said the rest will always be in the body here. So now, having opened PyCharm, I want now to take you through what we are going to learn today. Since we are able to open our PyCharm projects, today we want to learn about, let's start with a few concepts here which are really important. And we are going to be looking at the aspect, or maybe what we call attributes. So what are attributes? We want to know what attributes are as we gain more knowledge into building better projects. So when we have seen a few HTML tags and their usage, like heading tags, we saw H1 is to give the, which has the biggest, or maybe it's more bold than the others, and we said it's the king of all headings. And then we saw H2, H3, H4, H5, up to H6. And then we also have used the paragraph tag among other tags. We use them so far in their simplest form, but most of the HTML tags can also have attributes, which are extra bits of information. So an attribute is just an extra information. Yesterday but one, we were looking at the image tag. When we looked at the image tag, let me just share the image tag first before maybe it will give us a better understanding. So when we were looking at the image tag, there's something that we mentioned. About attributes. So when you look at the image tag that we saw yesterday, okay, so before we move on to attributes, I see Preet wants to give us a definition for attributes. So please, Preet, go ahead.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, you want to
attribute of HTML.
We were not hearing
No,
you. Come again.
Attributes are special word used inside the opening tag to control the element's behavior. HTML attributes are a modifier of an HTML element type. An attribute either modifies the default functionality of an element type or provides functionality to certain elements.
Nice. Okay, now let's see. Even let me show you what an attribute looks like using the image tag which we studied a few days ago. So we said that the image tag is used like this. We say image, then the source. So the source is just like an attribute, and we said source is an attribute to include the image's path. And the definition of an attribute is an attribute provides additional information about your HTML tag. So just like we were having additional information inside the image tag, we are going to have additional information inside other tags. So let me just share my new PowerPoint that we want now to use today. So now we understand. If you don't understanding attribute yet, or if you have another definition, please feel free to raise up your hand and we shall give you a chance to share. Now, so now we said we have used the tags before, and we have just been using the basic way of, they have been the easiest way of using these tags. How about if we used sorry, I was muted. How about if you use them to carry more information? This is how we are going to use them. So an attribute is used to define the characteristics or the features of an HTML and element and is placed inside the element's opening tag. The opening tag is that the first tag when you're opening your HTML, whatever tag you're coming up with. So all attributes are made up of two parts, the name and the value that it carries. So the name is the property you want to set. For example, the paragraph element in the example carries an attribute whose name is align. You want to align aligning is just like to set a point where your work is supposed to be, maybe to set, it can say if it's a tab, maybe if to leave some space from the margin, that is aligning something at a certain point, which you can use to indicate the alignment of a paragraph on the page. The value is what you want the value of the property to be set, and always put in within quotations. Never forget to put them in quotations. So the example we are going to show you shows three possible values of align attribute. You can either align to the left, align this at the center, or you work in the center, then or align to the right. So this is an example that I want us to try. In the HTML document, this HTML web page, we have our title as align attribute title example, or you can call it anything. But then we are aligning the paragraph to the left. I want you to align the first paragraph to the left using this. You open, we said we put the attribute in the opening tag, and we are opening the tag of paragraph here. Before you close, let me now illustrate this. Before you close here, you have to write align equals to, if you're aligning to the left, you have to put the left inside the quotes before now closing this paragraph tag. That's how attributes are written. Then whatever you want to write is going to be here before you close the tag. So let's try this out. And even if you're using Notepad, it's okay. You can use anything that you are, if you haven't installed PyCharm yet, you can use HTML, you can use Notepad. And I want the first paragraph to be aligned to the left, the second paragraph to the center, then the third to the right. So let me just lead by example here. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Let me just try to zoom, and I see you can be able to see my work very well. I think it's visible. So the first paragraph, when I come to the body, I open a tag for paragraph. And before I close paragraph, I will just come here and I say, I open the attribute for align. Align. Let me see who is in the chat. Yes, create you can do in the notepad if you don't have a PyCharm. It's okay, you can do in notepad. So after aligning, you said the attribute has to be inside the quote. So you put equal signs, then you start quotes like that. And then you say the first one can be in left. The first one is aligned left. Then after closing the quotes, you close that tag like that. Then what paragraph are you aligning? So you can just, since I can just copy some text somewhere because of time, and then I just paste it here. Okay. Let me see where can I get text. So I can just get something here from the internet, then I paste a paragraph. I just need a paragraph. I can't have time to type it. So I'll just copy what someone has here. Then I come and paste it here, like that. So this is my first paragraph. Now let me show you what happens when I share this. So I hope all my screen, the entire screen is shared. That's good. So when I try to run this in so this is a lot of work, but let me just make another inside the body. Let me start another one. And this one here, I'm going to align it to the center. And then let me just paste the same thing. Then I come here and I just start another paragraph. And this one round, I'm going to align cosine to the right. And I paste the same thing here. Now, someone is saying, Christian says his PyCharm is on Python. I said initially, you have to come to where this folder is. The folder where your projects are. You leave the py.py, you just right click here on this folder, then you click on new, then HTML file here to make, and then you give the name of the HTML file here and press enter. So after this, let me just try out to see what happens. And the alignment is still not show, but this one, as you can see, it's aligned. It's aligned to the left. This one is aligned to the right, and this one is centered. This one is centered. Things are aligned in the center. This one, things are pushed to the left, and this one, things are pushed to the right. That's what they align. That's what that attribute helps us to do. Christian, if you're still facing challenges, just use Notepad. You will get time to familiarize yourself with PyCharm. Or maybe we shall, when everyone installs PyCharm, we shall have a class we shall have to use, teach you again how to use PyCharm. So when I get back here, this is what I've done. My first text was aligned to the left. This one is aligned in the center, and this one is aligned to the right. Let me show you what happens to Word. So when you open a Word document like this, when you have information like this, if you highlight everything and you click, this is aligning to the right. This one is aligning to the center. When I align to the center, things will appear like this. And this is what is happening here. When you see this text in the middle, things are aligned to the center. If I made this small, this browser small like this, you would be able to see that clearly. So if I try to shrink this, you see that these things at the center, this paragraph at the center is aligned in the middle, just like you're seeing this. But if I'm aligning it to the right here, things will appear like this. And this is what you're seeing, this alignment here. Things are aligned to the right. And these ones, they are aligned to, this paragraph is aligned to the left, as you're seeing. If we align this to the left, it will appear like this. So that's what this attribute helps us to configure. Let me see in the, if you finish, you can write it in Notepad. It's okay. It's okay if you don't use PyCharm for today. But if you've already opened an HTML document in PyCharm, then you can use PyCharm. So let me just close this and I start over my so now when you finish, you let me know. Let me give you some few minutes to do that. I said everyone should do in PyCharm. Christian, you're raising up. If you can't use PyCharm now, use Notepad. Don't throw yourself to what has refused. If you're facing a challenge, you can let me know in the chat as well. So let's just try to use the align, and then we shall come to another attribute. Yes, Christian, what's the problem?
Teacher, when you are showing me how to do that, my screen, I couldn't see your screen share. That's what I wanted to tell you. That's why I wasn't.
You use Notepad. You use Notepad, the one you've been using.
Please, teacher. I just show me how to do it, and I'll go and finish.
No, for today, let's use Notepad. Open Notepad.
Please, teacher.
You can use PyCharm. Then if you, when we share the recorded video, you can be able to see the steps that we went through, because if we keep on wasting time to go back, then we shall not complete the curriculum. Sorry about that. So if you finish getting some text, you can just copy some text or just write some text and align it. And then you let me know if you're successful so we can move on to the next topic. And now for those who are with us last week, if you want to add the Marquee tool, in this case, I can just open a tag for Marquee and then I close. So let's cut this and then I close it from this side. So when I try out this, share the entire screen. When I try out this, now my words will move from, this one is aligned on the right, and that's why you see the words are moving from the right. And when we also have the Marquee for this, they will be moving from the left to the right. I hope. Not from the left, they have to move right. By default, they move from the right to the left until you put an attribute. So as you're still trying out that, I also want to come down here and then I try to add an image. Let me see if I can get a picture. Let me get some pictures here from my downloads. And I just want to align this one. So I'll say this is image.jpg. And then when I say this image tag source, and the source of the image, I'll just say image.jpg. And then when I run this, I have the image here, but I want to align it. So I want an attribute for aligning. So after, or even after the source, I can come here and I put a space and I add another attribute for align. So this is align, maybe to the right here. And my image, just that it's too big, but it's going to be aligned to the right. So let me just try to get a picture which is a little bit small. Let me take this out and I use this one, image.jpg. So let me see when I try here. It's also too big. So we shall also show you how to put the attribute for size of images such that you can reduce them or increase them by using attribute. So let me see if I can reduce this picture here. Let me first edit it and I make it very small so it can show you what I'm meaning. Now when I come to edit here, I say tools, then I resize. And then let me try to make it 200 pixels. So let me see. And when I try to save here, let me hope it works. When I try now to run, it's now going to be aligned. We aligned it to the right and it's now on the right. Let's try to get this another picture here. Maybe this one. Let me also reduce the size of this picture. Maybe 202. And then I click file and save. So this one I want to align it. This one I'm going to call it image2. So image2.jpg. And when I just come here and I open another line to add another image, then the source is the first attribute here. And we have inside the image, it's called image1.jpg. Then we align it to the left. Align to the left. Then we close the image. We say the image tag is a self-closing tag. That's why we just you're just seeing me ending here. Then when I try out here, it's the image tag. It's going to be, I think I didn't locate it very well. Let me see .g image1. Oh, I called it image2, but here I'm saying image1. Sorry, this is image2. Now it's going to come to the, as you see, it has come to the right. So that's how you can decide which side your pictures or maybe your work should be. Alignment. So let's give it some time. You try to have this When you finish, you let me know. So I will not continue until everyone has finished. If you paste, Faridi is asking, how do you paste pictures? If you have a picture in a folder, for example, if I have a picture here, this picture here, I can just copy it, then come and paste it inside my folder. This is the folder for my projects. So I paste it here, and then I just rename it. I right click, then I rename, and this one I'm going to call it maybe friends.jpg is already here. And then now, I just didn't get your question clearly, but then you now source, this is to source it, to locate it. Because I called this one friends.jpg, when I come here to maybe start another image, yeah, I will just say image. I open the image tag, and then I say source equals to friends.jpg align equals to center, like that. And that's all. So this image is going to come in the middle here, just that it's too big. If I reduce its size the way I'm always doing, so I just come here and you can also use, just use the edit. You open the picture, then click on file or edit, then you edit it to reduce the size. So this is how I do it. I'll just make this one 300, and then I press OK, then I save, and then I close this. So when I now try out, it's going to come to the center. Let me try to minimize. So let's try, let everyone try out this. When you're finished, you let me know. So this is how we use attributes in coding. Okay, you can stop sharing. Let me do it again. Now pay attention. So the first thing I do is to come here to projects, then I create a new HTML, come to Python projects, create a new HTML document. This one, I'm just going to call it home, then I start over. Or if you're not using PyCharm, you just put .html. And in the title, I'm just going to say my adventure. This is going to be my title. And then I now go to the body where I write things which I want to be seen. So in the body, I say, I can first have the heading, maybe a heading 1. Then I put the attribute, which is align equals to center. And then I close this like this. Then whatever I want to put, I'm going to say Creative Child Foundation is going to be at the center. And then I start a paragraph. So when I try to, let me show you what happens when I try to, what this code does. This code simply puts the word Creative Child Foundation in the middle here at the center. Now, to put a paragraph here, I may say P, and then I say align. And I'm aligning it to the left. Align to the left. And then can just align this, align anything. I just type anything on the keyboard. And then now let me show you what happens. This is aligned to the left. Like you can see. Now let me create the one to align things to the right. So I start, even before, I can have an image tag coming here. And this one is image. And the first attribute is source, of course. And the source of the image, I can say image.jpg because that's what is in my images here. Image.jpg. And then I close this. Sorry, before even closing, I can start another attribute, which is align. And I align it to the left. So I align it to the left, then I close. Now when I play this, it's going to be aligned to the left as you're seeing. So let me start another paragraph here. And in this paragraph, P, I align everything to the right. So align to the right. And this time round, after aligning to the right, I think that's all. I don't need to add another attribute. So I just type anything. Since I have no time, I'll just do this. And then when I play, it's going to be aligned to the right, as you can see. So that's what I was trying to talk about, aligning things to the left, to the center. This text is in the center, the heading, and I aligned it in the center, as you can see. So any attribute can be used in this. All tags can have attributes, including even the HTML tag. You see, this HTML tag has an attribute of language. You see? This is the first attribute that we had. Language equals to English. If I change this language to maybe, let me say, French, is French written like this? I don't know. Yes, you see now it tells me to translate this to French because I have told it that this HTML document is in French. And you see Google here, the browser is telling me to translate to French. So this is the attribute for language. If it's English, it's EN. Let me try SW if it's for Swahili. Yes, it is Swahili here. Translate to Swahili if I made the page to be in Swahili. I hope I'm making sense. It's a little bit complicated, but when you practice as an Ignite Fellow, it's going to be easier. So now, Christian, are you now fine? Have you figured it out?
Yes, teacher. I'll show you what I'm doing right now.
Right.
I'll screen share what I'm doing.
How about gifts, Farid and Trami? Let me start from Trami. Trami, how far?
Teacher, the images are still refused.
You want to share, first share your screen and I see. Even gift is fine. Try to share your entire screen and I show how to put images. Whoever is finding challenges, I can see when gift is. Yes, even Notepad works using. So you can share your screen and we see. Maybe there is an error in how the file extension of your images. Yes, Trami.
Teacher, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay.
That's good. Now let me see, why are pictures? Your picture, you first have to check the property of the picture. All of them are in JPG, okay? So your image, your spelling, if it is source, it's not SCR, it is SRC. You should always see what I'm writing. And that's what we did even the other time. We were using source is SRC. When you mess up with the spelling, or maybe it's case sensitive as well.
Mommy.
Yes. Now it's the image has come.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. So let's get to here to see, Gift, do you want to share your screen? We have only 9 minutes to end this class. So we have, okay, if your Gift is also fine, and also Farid has finished. Farid, do you want to share with us what you've done? Okay, you can share. That is aligning the center. That's very good. Paragraph align right. So, okay. That's awesome. Awesome. Now let's conclude with today's class, and then I will allow everyone to share, whoever has not shared screen. So when we look at attributes, so this is going to, when we have this code is supposed to display things like this one to the left, this one in the center, and this one in the right, in the right hand side. So as we said, let me just share the whole screen. Now, even attributes like color, background color, or let me just share a PyCharm here, and when I get so the rest, I think if we have maybe if you wanted the background color of maybe this heading here. So let me try to say background color. So no, this is background color equals maybe red. I don't think this is going to work. But let me try and see. But tomorrow we are going to look at so many attributes, including CSS. We're supposed to start looking at CSS tomorrow, how to change color of words and also the backgrounds in here. But I just wanted to see, let me share the whole screen, see if this attribute can work. If I start this. So it doesn't, but that's what we're going to look at tomorrow. Now, heading can also be, we can have so many titles, so many attributes in a single tag. Just like you've seen, if inside this image tag, we have 2 attributes. We can have the 3rd one, we can have the 4th one, the 5th one, so many of them inside the same, the very same, the same tag. So at this point here, I'm going to take some questions. If you have them, please leave them in the chat or just raise up your hand so I can let you ask. If there are no questions, then we may have to let me say, I just wanted us to take a look at one more attribute before we go. I think we can try out the style. So let's try out the style. If I have does the style matter? Let me see which style should we look at? Height, length, color. I think style. Let's look at style, because we said we talked about the core attributes, and we said we have yeah, sure. So let me just see in my PowerPoint why the PowerPoint is not complete. Yes. Let me just share the last PowerPoint here. Now let's summarize since there are no questions. So we said after this alignment, the 4 core attributes that can be used in the majority of HTML tags or elements are the ID, but not all of them, of course, the title, and the class, then the style. We are going to look at each of them tomorrow. So just to have a highlight about the ID attribute, the ID attribute of an HTML tag can be used to uniquely identify an element within an HTML page. There are 2 primary reasons that you might want to use an ID attribute on an element. So if an element carries an ID attribute, ID is just like identification number. So if you have 2 elements, you can either use it. These are 2 reasons why you can use an attribute, an ID attribute. Either one of the reasons can be the element carries an attribute as a unique identifier to uniquely identify some feature, or maybe if it is size or something that is on your page. Or the other reason can be if you have 2 elements of the same name within a web page. For example, you have age and age. They have the same name, but they are on the same web page. So you can use the ID identifier to handle that situation when you have 2 elements which have the same name within a web page, a single web page. So an example can be, we can start a paragraph and we give it the ID HTML. And then this, in the paragraph, we just say this paragraph explains what is HTML. Then we close it. Then we open another one, because we open another paragraph here. And now the idea of this paragraph is CSS, and this paragraph explains what is cascading style sheet. So tomorrow when you start looking at CSS, or maybe with time when you start looking at CSS in full, it's going to be standing for cascading style sheet, to put style, to add style to our text, to our images, to our website or web page. We use CSS. So this paragraph and this one, both of them are paragraphs, but they are of different IDs. To identify this paragraph, you identify it using an ID. This one, the ID is HTML, and this one, the ID is CSS, the second paragraph. So that's what I wanted to just share about more attributes that we are going to. If you want to do some research, try to read about ID, about the core attributes and the ID, title, class, style before tomorrow's class. So at this point here, I'm going to take some questions. If there are no questions, then we shall meet tomorrow. So let me give you 1 minute. If you have a question, please do. Anyone who has a question, you can just unmute yourself and then you ask the question.
What does CSS mean?
As we said, it's a cascading style sheet. Means CSS. You see, when you have a website, it is the HTML. HTML is a document, and it can just have words which are structured or unstructured. But if you want to put them in order and make them look beautiful, and what that's all about front-end website development, is adding colors, is adding the boldness, the font style, adding so many features which make the website to look beautiful. We use cascading style sheet. The way we just to add style to our web page, we use CSS. It's not a language, it's just as you're going to be using it, we can use it as attributes or we can use it separately to be in its folder, and then it works hand in hand with our HTML document. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So we shall talk more about CSS when we come to the class, to the lesson of CSS. Let's hear from Twami. Yes, please unmute.
Teacher, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
I want you to help me. I want you to show me how to open PyCharm.
Okay, you can share your screen.
Teacher, can you see my screen?
Yes. Click on new project. And did you make you first make a folder for PyCharm projects, maybe on your desktop? Right click on your desktop and then say folder, then call it PyCharm project. And click here. Now click this icon here. Annotated. Say this one.
Yeah, that one.
facing any challenge clicking this icon here?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
I'm happy. The Zumba is blocking my screen.
The what?
The Zumba is blocking way for my cursor.
What do you mean the Zumba?
Is this thing up for the Zumba?
You can first cancel it and open again. This is cancel. Now click on desktop. Can go to users, then go to public, then scroll and sorry, there's nothing here. Let me see. HBS desktop, double click, then look for HTML projects, which is here, then press OK. Now click on create. So after this, you just click close. Click close. Then let it download. Then now go to this you can click on this pop-up here. Are you seeing down here? Click on this and then press OK. Wait for it to. So it may download, it's now downloading it, the plugins that are required for you to run Python, or maybe, so, but in the near future, you will also be doing Python. So it's good if you have all of them ready. You just canceled it. You press cancel. Now you click on file, then right click on PyCharm projects. Right click on the word PyCharm projects. This one here. PyCharm projects is here. The folder is down here. Then new, then HTML file. Then after new, you come this side to where you see HTML file. and then you click on it. After giving it the name, you just press enter and it's going to come. You didn't press enter. You redo it. Remember, don't always, it's not advisable to use capital letters. Use small letters. So that's what we did. Now you'll be adding the rest of the code inside there.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
All right. Okay, do we have a question? If Gift is not asking, then I can wish you a good night.
Excuse me, Teacher Solomon.
Yes.
Can I screen share my screen again so that you can see the
Yes, you can.
assignment you had told us to do?
Yeah, sure, you can. That's great.
Teacher, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Let's see.
Teacher, I wasn't able to make them slide from the right hand side, so I just made when you just have to use the cursor to make them come from down.
Oh, that's still fine. That's good. That's good. We shall learn how to make them. So this
Good night,
one.
Teacher Solomon.
All right. Have a good night.